Good morning, all. Welcome to the Parks O and M, September 25th. We need approval for the minutes from prior year, Mr. Casino. Bruno. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Privilege to the floor. Anybody in the audience? Move on. Action agenda. Can we move the first three together?
If you'd like, I just go through them real quick. These are the miscellaneous resolutions. This is a reimbursement back to the village for the attendant for May, June, and July.
We can put them all together.
Yep.
Mr. Bruno, Mr. Wild. Any questions?
I do, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind. You know, I was looking through some of the maintenance time and the amount of time associated with that. Looks like the person shows up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 8 hours most of the time. What are they doing?
They're maintaining the facility. They're mowing the grass. They're weed whacking the fence. They're doing any type of the landscape work around the playground area. That's what they do.
So you're comfortable with the amount of hours
I am.
associated with it?
There's a lot of work associated with it. You know, you recall that the fence line is around the entire park. You know that we brought some things forward for possibility of a new playground. I think discussion with the mayor yesterday, and Vinny, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know he gave you some information. They're looking at taking the playground that they have down at Shepherd's Park, some of the material, and bringing it up to replace some of the deteriorated equipment that's in the current Happy's playground now, so.
Right, yeah.
And then they'll go forward looking for some more grant funding, possibly to do some other things as well.
I donated a playground, right? I donated the one that was gonna go to Wood Park. Now it's gonna go to Shepherd Park, and Shepherd Park's gonna go
Come up
to
with
Wood
there.
Park, yeah.
Yeah, but there's around all the equipment and fence lines and things like that, it's quite a bit of maintenance.
Okay.
Yep.
It's only one gentleman that does a lot.
And I just add, the only reason that these all come through as miscellaneous resolutions because they exceed my authority, which is only $2,500. You all, a couple years ago, we had said that any one of these up to $2,500 I can approve, but anything over, we'd bring back through committee. All this money that pays for these comes out of the deferred revenue that we take in for the events that happen at the park.
Pretty mutual pleasure. All right, so we got a motion, we got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Now,
All right, number 4.
So this one is, it's a request to pay for the water bill for the village of Lake George. The water bill seemed to be awful high this year. And I have asked, I think this is the estimate that we got to cover us for the remainder of the year. I had asked the maintenance folks from the village to take a look at the water line, because although we had a very somewhat dry summer, this has almost doubled, not quite, but almost doubled in the amount of water that they were using. I suggested that they look for a leak in the system, in turn, which they have found a leak in the system. Now they're looking to find, they found it somewhere in the system. That now they have to kind of narrow it down. So they're working on that. So although I'm increasing this code to have the money in there to be able to pay this is the estimate for the remainder of the year. I'm hoping not to use it and they find exactly how much water that they're losing and they give us a credit for this. So I would say stay tuned, but this is just to get the money to get into that code for now, just in case I need some extra money.
Who are you talking to? Chris
John
Buckley
Helms.
on Helms?
Yeah, John was the one that he had Keith and him and went out there to investigate. Dave Goodsall had mentioned that he didn't think there was a leak. John had gone out and they investigated from the main valve that they're leaking, but now they got to determine which zone that's leaking in. And if you don't see that water coming up out of the ground,
Yeah,
so now they got to narrow it down or pinpoint it as to which one of the valves or which one of the lines is leaking. So they're currently working on that right now. John and I talked last Thursday. Haven't had a chance to reach back to him because we were in Balloon Fest all weekend, so. So that's it for that.
We gotta pay this bill anyway, so we gotta move forward on this. They find it, but we have to pay this bill.
Yep.
So we got a motion. Mr. Casino, Bruno. All in favor? Opposed, passed.
So discussion items is festival space update. I attached a schedule in there for the remainder of items for this year. Wild in the Trees Skate Festival is coming up October 4th. The pilgrimage for restoration is coming up for Wood Park on the 25th and the 26th, and then the NY Stars, which is the Traffic Accident Reconstruction Society Conference, is coming up in the 22nd of October with a rain date of the 23rd. They have also requested as of yesterday to use the parking lot out in front of the park as some of their accident reconstruction, which they had used in the past before when they were here. So I sent them the permit for that, which that would be a one-day use at $2,000 a day. And then you can see as of right now, the first thing that they have booked for next year in the schedule is the Lake George Epic Family Festival at Wood Park, and that's pending the village review, board review, and that's for July 11th. And I know the mayor says that, and I don't know if Supervisor from Lake George would like to talk to any of it, but the mayor said that they're continually working on booking events for next year.
Yeah, he's trying. Not what he doesn't have what May Blaze had booked on there, but he is trying, and there's a new fishing contest, I guess, reached out. Jeep rally. But
Yep. Yeah, in fact, the fishing contest was in the professional fishing tournament, bass fishing tournament that they're looking on the off season, which would be sometime in October. They had the press release, I think, the other day
Yeah.
in the Post Star.
But we don't have a list of what happened this year at all.
Yeah, I don't think this,
How did the wine and beer festival they got?
yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, the Adirondack Wine and Food Festival, there's certainly, I know they'll be back next year. With my discussions with them yesterday regarding, a second event during the year, they certainly said that they would be back to the Charles R. Wood Park for their first event in June. They were just looking for a second venue to possibly do something else as well. Maybe it would be them coming back there again for a latter part of the year. Yeah, Barricade and Car Show will certainly be back for next year.
How about what we talked about, the tow truck not going on the grass itself, keep them out on the road. We might lose parking spaces, but we'll save a lot of money in repair.
Well, and that's something we talked about regarding, it's all dependent upon weather. When you have a dry season like we did this year, a lot of the festival space the remainder of the year remained in fairly good shape. We certainly had to do repairs, but when it's wet, especially what happens in the spring, just after Barricade comes, and then before the tow truck company came, which was just a couple weeks after, it was still fairly wet on the site. I think that's a kind of a game time decision, is determine whether or not.
As long as we keep that as an option.
Yep. And then the last thing that we had for that would be the budget for joint park and O&M, and it was decreased both in revenue and expenditures, and that may change, and we'll do budget amendments throughout the year, but that was due to the reductions that we had for the 2025 season. So hoping that we can come back and do budget amendments, because we will be increasing the number of events that are coming. And that.
How about privilege of the floor? Anybody have any? I'm sorry.
We consider increasing the amount the DPW superintendent could approve to about $5,000. That has reduced the number of times he'd have to come back to the committee. It is deferred revenue. We could bring a resolution next meeting.
I have no problem.
I would,
See, I have no problem. It's a while, you got no problem with
No
it?
problem.
I got a problem.
No, I was just gonna add on you know, the $2,500 was done several years ago. You know, and as everything, you know, prices increase, salaries increase, whatever else. So I think the majority of them that would come through from here on out would exceed that. So thank you. John.
About 5,000. 5,000, all right.
So we'll bring that,
Nope,
we'll
yeah,
bring it next
Bring
month.
it up.
We'll bring it next month.
All right. All right, no privilege of the floor or anything? How about a motion to adjourn? Mr. Wild, all in favor?